Jason Wells with MLM Complete Package. And I want to talk about MLM coaching this week, what you really need. This is one of those subjects that's just difficult to talk about because you see so many different, definitions of what MLM coaching is just based on what's out there. And so I think it's hard for people to understand, what kind of coaching do I need? What is coaching? Do I have that with my current upline? If I'm seeking third-party help out there, what do I look for? These are some of the things that I think are confusing to people. And I will tell you this, you definitely need it, but what you really need is the right coaching. And unfortunately, there isn't a lot out there of what I would consider the right coaching. And this is what I mean. Most of what's out there is motivational type stuff. It's a lot like the training courses, which is why so many people like our training on MLM Complete Package, is because it's actually practical. It tells you what to do. And that's what people want to know. Now, I'm not saying that you can't use an occasional motivational speech sometime, or you need some help, but there are a ton of books and audio type courses that go into that are not even MLM specific. You don't even really need anything in the MLM realm to do that. But I find a lot of the courses, and I think the coaching follows suit, where it's just a lot of you can do it stuff. And the reality is that doesn't build your business. You have to go out there and actually do specific things. I think people need to know, okay, how do I do this, and tell me what to do? And that's what real MLM coaching is. So really the first thing that you need to have is somebody to tell you what to do. So these are the things you need to be doing to create activity in your business. And then once you do that, you need to be able to get feedback on what you're doing so you can determine whether you're doing something right. For instance, if somebody is using our communication training in our communication course and they're in the develop step, people out there that follow our podcast and YouTube videos and such and blogs that have taken our courses, they know what we're talking about. So you'll do the develop step. Okay, you can do the develop step, you can do the activity, but are you doing it right? And so these are the things that a coach can do. And the reason why I feel so strongly about coaching is I know with my own downline, I know what I need to do with them on a weekly basis in order to get them on track and to make sure they're doing things. So one of those things is getting that feedback. Then the third thing in coaching is telling them what they need to do going forward to do it right. And this may sound very simplistic. The first thing, what to do, then what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, what adjustments you need to make on a third. That may sound very simplistic, but doing each of those things takes somebody who knows what they're doing. It's one of those things where I can say you need these three things, but the person who's going to do it with you, it's easier said than done. And so somebody has to have built MLM before, and they have to know what they're doing in order for them to be what I would call somebody that can give you what you really need when it comes to MLM coaching. And I will repeat, telling you what activities you should be doing, then evaluating what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, and third, making those adjustments. And so the person needs to really have an understanding of how to build the MLM business. Now, I don't want this to become a promotion for some of our services. I mean, honestly, I don't, because we really have a hard time fitting this service in. And the only reason why we do it inside our own company and we do it out there in the MLM community is because it's just to have the complete package. Unfortunately, you got to have somebody coaching you. And so if that's not something that's available to you, it's something we have to at least offer in good faith, because it's what we do with our team. Like, in other words, if MLM Complete Package is a generic version in the MLM community of what we do in our own team, but we don't offer that part, it's not really complete. There really aren't enough hours in the day sometimes for Chris and I to do this, but fortunately, not everyone, in my opinion, is serious enough to do this. So it's unfortunate for the MLM community and probably for your company if you're one of those people, but it does keep us from being overwhelmed more so than we already are. And what I can tell you is what I would really prefer is if you could find somebody in your upline who has successfully built MLM before and that can at least hold you accountable. And they don't even need to know our style of building. They could be building it completely different than you. But, if you go through our training and you understand how we do things and you establish some activities that you want to accomplish, you could even go to that person and say, hey, can you keep me accountable on these things? Now, you may not get those daily coaching things, but if you have conversations with people when it comes to your product or business, I would imagine they could at least coach you on what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. And that's what would be preferable to me. I mean, it's not getting Chris and I, but it's something, and I'm just trying to impress upon you, if you don't have this in your arsenal, at least on a every other week basis, preferably every week with somebody, I just don't know how you're really going to build your MLM seriously. Because you got to have that guidance. I needed it in the beginning. I don't know where I would have been at had I not had somebody to guide me when I started out. And, even though people that know my story, even though a lot of what I was taught, I trashed it because a lot of it didn't work. It's what led me to where I am now and knowing what I learned, meaning I did what I was told, and I got feedback and I implemented changes and I did all the things I'm talking about. And had I not done that, I wouldn't have realized that some of the things that we were being taught didn't work. And I wouldn't have come up with my own way of doing things. In other words, I had to do the activity and I had to get into it to see what was working and what was not. And I eventually just figured this stuff out all on my own. Fortunately, my own downline hasn't had to do that now because a lot of the stuff that you guys have on MLM Complete Package, obviously our own downline and our own team, they have those things. But the thing that's hard when you're offering courses and things out there is, you can teach people everything you know, but it's that day-to-day feedback on making sure you're actually implementing in what you've learned and doing it the right way. That's the thing. And then further, the accountability. So like I said, I prefer that you work with somebody within your company, somebody that's accomplished building the business in a successful way. But if that's not available to you, that's where some of our programs can help you. And so, if you're one of those people that need that extra help and you don't have that availability in your upline where you're at, check us out. We'll tell you, like I said, we don't, we're kind of limited on who we take. But because, we'll tell you, if we can't really help you or your situation is such that it's not going to be beneficial to you, we'll let you know that. But if you need the help, go to training on our website, click coaching, and then there's group coaching and one-on-one coaching. And a lot of times the group coaching can be good for people because if you have somebody to hold you accountable in your upline, but maybe they don't, and you want to do our style of building, which a lot of people do, maybe they can hold you accountable. And then maybe to get that direct feedback, on the things that you're doing directly from us, the group coaching programs can be really good for those because then you can ask questions on those group calls to clarify, this is what I'm doing, this is what I did, this is what happened, did I do it right? Did I do it wrong? What should I do next time? We can do that. Some people just really need that one-on-one attention because they don't have anything from their upline, nothing at all. They're just really orphans. And, I get it. Some people, they just love their company. They're in a great company, but they just don't have a good upline situation. And so they're kind of lost. And so, because a lot of people say, why don't you just leave, leave your company? Well, I get that. There's a lot of people in my company that don't have a good upline, and I could see why they wouldn't want to leave our company. They just love it. And so I'm sure those situations are out there for people. Some do. We've talked to a lot of people that aren't completely in love with their company. They're just it's a good company, but they're open to going somewhere else where they can get better guidance. But that's not the case with everyone. And that's part of the reason why we have these types of programs and why we're a bit overwhelmed even in our own company. We have a lot of people in our company. Obviously, we believe in our company. It's awesome, but they just don't have the upline guidance. It's not the company's fault. It's just the luck of the draw or the upline that they chose or their circumstance. It sucks, but it is what it is. So we've helped a lot of those people where they could stay put in our company and get that help that they needed. And, they implement our training, they do our stuff, they take our courses, they go through the stuff, but then there's some gray areas or they need that week-to-week coaching on, hey, what do I do here? What do I do there? And so you get the idea. It's something that some people need. And by the way, it wasn't until recently that we started offering this on an MLM Complete package. And the only reason why we did is because it's been something that's been requested of us. So, just know that you got to be working with somebody and you got to have somebody give you that feedback. And I would imagine, maybe your training isn't that great in your team and that's why you use a lot of our stuff. But that doesn't mean there might be somebody that's really good above you that could at least guide you on some things. And so that's what I would recommend on a first time thing is I go out there and see if you can figure that out. If not, where to find our stuff, and we'll get you set up. And if you get set up with this and it's not something that we think will be good for you long term, we'll tell you. And I want you to be aware that this is something that's important, and I want you to know what is good coaching and what isn't. Particularly if you're paying for it. If you're paying somebody and all you're getting is somebody that tells you can do it, you can get that from Tony Robbins or whatever, and you don't need to pay somebody to tell you that. What you need is somebody to tell you how to build a business, what to do. You need specifics. And so that's what you need. You got to find that. Think about that. Look at, who's in your upline, who can help you with this, at least at a minimum, in an accountability sense. And, if you feel like you need additional help and clarification on what to do on a day-to-day basis, maybe you can get that accountability from somebody in your upline, but you can get the outside third-party help with us on like group coaching. And then there'll be those unique situations where, people just tell us they feel like they need that one-on-one attention. And that's purely a personal thing and what you feel you need. But what I recommend, you should know what you need and how you can get that.